Errol the Truth Spence Jr. back in a big way, and he didn't even have to fight. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. In this video, we will just go over a quick overview of Saturday night's events. Tim Tszyu, Fundora, obviously Rolando Romero, Issac Cruz, and what's next for PBC, Amazon, Errol Spence Jr., Fundora. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. This is your boy JG. Come in, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of when the videos drop. Saturday night was a successful event for PBC on Amazon. They did a great job. The broadcast was done well, and they put on a really great card. I want to get into first the fight that I did break down and cover, which was Rolando Romero versus Issac Cruz. I predicted this one, and he almost got it done in round one. Like I said before, when you have a fighter who has a lot of weight on his back foot, it makes it difficult for you to get yourself out of the way from shots coming in. Issac Cruz did a good job punching in between Rolly's punches and finding a place for that hook, wobbling him bad in the first, and ultimately stopping him later in the bout. This was not a hard fight for me to call. I know some people were talking about how hard that Rolly hits and his awkward style and nature, but ultimately the guys that give Issac Cruz trouble are traditionalists from a boxing delivery perspective. Giovanni Cabrera and Gervonta Tank Davis. That gets lost upon people sometimes because, like I said before, he does have all knockouts. However, he's a beautiful boxer and can be considered pretty slick with his ability to get out of the way, avoid punches, and then counter. Giovanni Cabrera, a lot of the same, not as much power, but a guy who has an educated jab, a variety in his lead hand, and knows how to navigate the ring. These are the types of fighters that'll give it Issac Cruz trouble every single time. The inability to move responsibly, utilize footwork for a Rolando Romero was ultimately his undoing. Came in great shape. He looked like he had good size on him. I think for some people were a little bit surprised that the height discrepancy wasn't as you may have anticipated, but ultimately Rolly Romero is still very raw in a lot of areas. He's beaten guys that he's been really able to just bully, and that wasn't going to be the case for Issac Cruz. So great fight, exciting win for him, and he definitely did his thing. I'm not surprised or shocked at all, and it definitely presents opportunities at 140 pounds to see some more unique challenges that you may not have been checking for, but now that he's a champion, you can't duck or dodge. Well, he did some ducking himself, shout to Issac Cruz, but I digress. If we move along to the main event of the evening, Tim Tszyu Sebastian Fundora, late replacement for Keith Thurman, for those who don't know. Definitely an exciting fight, bloodbath. You know, these guys went back and forth. I didn't do a breakdown video of this particular bout, but if I did, I would have leaned towards Tim Tszyu to get this done. From the perspective, I think he's a really precise puncher, super patient, and he does a really great job just applying pressure, going to the body, level changing, things of that nature. And he's pretty defensively sound. He had a big cut opened up on his head. That was nasty, which caused issues. It was a split decision of victory. Before I get into what I would like to see happen after this bout, I want to cover some of what took place within the bout. One of the knocks that I have against Sebastian Fundora, guys at 6'6", 6'7", is he doesn't fight tall. He will shrink down, and he's a volume guy, so he can pepper dudes and do his thing, but he gets hit hard a lot. Erickson Lubin, obviously, was knocked out brutally by Brian Mendoza. And even in this fight, Tim Tszyu lined up, some really clean shots. He had his head snapping and turning back. And I just think for a guy like Sebastian Fundora, you need to do a better job of fighting tall. He did do a much better job in this particular bout, though, however, stifling Tim Tszyu with his jab and keeping that in his face and just making it hard for Tim Tszyu to operate. Tim Tszyu still managed to do some beautiful counter work, close the distance effectively, and get his shots off on his own. I would love to see this fight again. Split decision victory for Sebastian Fundora, unified champion. I would love to see this fight again, just straight up. I would love to see them do this again. Now that we have got that out of the way, talking about wanting to see them do this fight again, we have to entertain what's been going on with Terrence Bud Crawford, the WBO Errol Spence Jr., and now new unified champion at 154 pounds, Sebastian Fundora. And what that is Bud Crawford has stated and petitioned the WBO as the former undisputed champion at 147, current champion still with the WBO, He wants to leverage his position, which is within the bylaws, to be first in line, become a mandatory for the champion of the WBO at 154. Sounds all well and good. I don't see any issue with that. Makes total sense. Except for Tim Tszyu had already essentially stated that if he were to win the belt, that he would dump the WBO belt in favor of Errol Spence Jr. fighting that fight. And now it appears that Sebastian Fundora may be in the same boat of moving away from that WBO belt in an effort to secure a fight with Errol Spence Jr. Now, from a boxing perspective, you would say, well, why would you not want to fight undefeated, two-time undisputed champion Terrence Bud Crawford? That seems like a big fight, but it is and it is. And it is for a boxing purist perspective, it's a great fight. It's a tremendous fight. It gives Bud Crawford an opportunity to be a 3-division world champion and pursue potentially undisputed within 3 divisions. But from a boxing, marketing, and money perspective, the Errol Spence Jr. fight, according to, the people who operate behind the scenes, appears to be the much more lucrative fight and likely easier to make. I would love to see Errol Spence against Fundora or Tim Tszyu for that matter, but I want to see him, me personally, see him tune up first. Fundora and now Tim Tszyu, they both have losses. That's fine. Fundora's been knocked out brutally by Brian Mendoza, but the beating that Errol took from Bud Crawford, there are many things that led up to that, but it was still a bad beating nonetheless. I would just like to see Errol Spence, shake the rust off, but, he's Mr. No Tune-Ups. One thing I will say, seeing him out and about down in Vegas for this event was nice. He seems refreshed. He seems like he's ready to pursue boxing again. So we got to see what happens there. But all of this kind of depends on the WBO status of the belt with Sebastian Fundora. Tim Tszyu already said he would dump the belt. Fundora, not so much, but it appears that that's the direction he's going in. So that gives him the freedom to make a bout with whoever he may choose, that being Errol Spence Jr. I'm sure the WBC wouldn't mind that. PBC wouldn't mind that. And it obviously would work out for Amazon Prime. Let me know what you guys think of this bout, how things played out. We predicted that Cruz would get this done. The video's still up. And I think this is a good start for boxing in 2024. We've had some previous events, obviously, but a card stacked from top to bottom, broadcasting in prime time, and fights that people care about taking place, and creating avenues for more exciting and compelling bouts in the future. This is your boy JG. This has been the Punch Report. Let me know what you guys think. What you think about the fights? What do you want to see moving forward? We out.